Solange Madriz. She is the technical advisor for the UCSF Center for Pandemic Preparedness and Response. It's a big one. I'm going to hand it over to you, Solange.
It's 2015. Believe it or not, as part of my job description, I was asked to reenact giving birth. Essentially, I have to fake birth as part of my job. And not the pretty births that you see in the movies. I had to reenact sepsis, preeclampsia, eclampsia, chorioamnionitis, postpartum hemorrhage. Sometimes, not only I had to be the mom with problems, sometimes I had to pretend the baby was also having problems, such as being born and not being able to breathe, being born and being floppy, being born or being stuck in my pelvis. Again, this is 2015, and this job took me to the western highlands of Guatemala. Western Guatemala, the scenery is very green. And I'm surrounded by volcanoes. I'm surrounded by a lot of greenery. The skies are blue, and there are thick, thick clouds. We're here in Guatemala because maternal mortality is one of the highest in the world. At the same time, newborn mortality is one of the highest in the world. This was my first gig after graduating from the master's program here at IGHS. I couldn't be more thrilled. I've been working at IGHS, but doing work office. I was so happy to finally be on the ground. Even though I'm Hispanic and Guatemala, they speak Spanish as their official language, I'm in a region of the world where most of the communities are indigenous. And even though I can speak Spanish, I cannot communicate with them. The people there also look different. Women wear traditional, very colorful outfits. Moms wear their babies on the back, where they seem very happy, wrapped around their backs. And also, there's a lot of movement all the time in the communities where I am. And even though I'm supposed to be feeling comfortable in those communities, I still feel a stranger. But we have a mission. And again, we're here because maternal mortality is high. And I not only have good acting skills, I also have good prompts. Besides my acting, I also bring a fake baby that I put on my belly. I also have a fabric placenta. And to reenact postpartum hemorrhage, I also load a bag full of fake blood, a red liquid, to reenact these emergencies. Over the next 3 years, we were able to train over 500 providers. By immersing providers in a very real scenario, we were able to present them for opportunity to practice their skills when the stakes were low. Our hope was that for them to be prepared and to strengthen their skills for when the real emergencies were happen, they would know what to do, how to detect when too much blood was too much, and they have to administer the certain medications. And we not only did training, we also measured. As a matter of fact, we had one of the most renowned statisticians and Wedge designed measuring. And at the end of our project, we're able to show that it was not only laughing, but it also worked. Their beautiful publication came out of this project, and I went on to do this in other parts of the world, Mexico and India, countries with similar problems as Guatemala. It is now 2021. COVID-19 is raging across the world, and a vaccine slowly making its way in the United States. And here I am, pregnant, not acting, for real in the first time. I was very confident. After all, I had reenacted all sorts of scenarios. I know how to advocate for myself. I know what to feel, what to ask, the medications. I knew it. I had done it for 3 years. So I was a very confident pregnant lady. I thought that I knew everything, but I was dead wrong. My birth story had nothing to do with any of the reenactments that I had done in Guatemala. It was actually pretty anticlimactic. After 48 hours in labor, I had an emergency section, and a day later I was sent home. One day, 2 days after giving birth, I'm at home with my baby, and I started to feel, couldn't know exactly it was normal or not. After all, this is my first time. All the other stuff I'd done, it was faked. I faked it. This was the real thing. And I was with my baby, and I started feeling like I was coming down with the flu, but I didn't have a sore throat. I was not hot. And I remember something that my OBGYN had told me in one of the prenatal care visits. If you feel something, just check your blood pressure. I was in my in-laws. I didn't even have my own blood pressure. And I go and I measure it. When I saw the reading, I panicked. It was 160/95. Normal ranges are 120/80. I was close to getting a stroke. We called the hospital and they said, run to the emergency room. My husband takes me because it's COVID times. I was not allowed to enter with him. And I'm now there in a cold emergency room, feeling hooked up to different cables and things, all of them beeping. And then all of a sudden they come and they said, we have to give you this drug, magnesium sulfate. Suddenly, I feel all my body burning inside out, and at the same time dizzy. And still, all those freaking machines, beep, 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 beep. And I'm by myself, and I said, what's going on? And a doctor comes and said, you're not responding to the blood pressure medication. We need to admit you. For the next 2 weeks, my blood pressure was up and down, and I was in the most vulnerable moment of my life. Everything that I pictured, bonding with the baby, surrounded by bunnies and feeling all this intense love, it was not there. Even though I was in the most sophisticated and the best healthcare system, one of the best ones in the world, I was terrified. I felt how my blood pressure was coming up and down. I felt that I was gonna die. And I couldn't feel any of the stuff that I had imagined that I was gonna feel. I was dead wrong that being an actress, it was gonna prepare me. Then they finally got it. They found the right cocktail for my blood pressure. And 2 weeks later, I was released and I was able to go home to be with my baby. That experience transformed me, but it also transformed how I showed up to work. It transformed me because I no longer serve other women. I stand along them. Because I did too face the edge. Now, earlier this year, I became a US citizen. And some of my colleagues told me, oh, Solange, we're so embarrassed for you. At this moment, oh, poor thing. Who signed your naturalization certificate? I'm like, yeah, I know. And trust me, I came back last night from Tijuana, Mexico. I saw with my own eyes a double metal wall designed to inflict pain and suffering in human beings. However, I couldn't help to feel happy and proud to be a US citizen. And when I reflected about that, I thought, why am I so proud? And the reason, it was clear to me. It is because I did a test. It was Dr. John Ziegler, the first director of the master's program, who replied to an email. And he opened the doors of his home to tell me about a field of global health and a wonderful program. And I enrolled and I became a graduate. It was Hannah Park here at IJHS, when IJHS lived in Laurel Heights, who gave me my first internship when I had no credibility and my accent was real bad. It was Robert Mansfield who made me a homeowner. But more importantly, he gave me the confidence and told me, Solange, stop repeating yourself. We understand what you're saying. Move on. It was Jaime Sepulveda and Colin Boyle, director and deputy director, the ones who gave me my first job here at IJHS, when IJHS was at 50 Beale Street. It was also here at IJHS where Joymir Jahangir became my ally during the pandemic, and she understood that to be your whole self and to be your best self, you also have to understand what that person is doing in her personal life and has been there for me. It was Susie Welty who gave me my first job to lead a program in Ecuador and Paraguay. And it was Lisa Thompson who also took me under her wing and the first person who took me to Guatemala to do my capstone project. And last and not least, it was Dr. Dilys Walker who gave me my first global health mission and not only took me to Guatemala, but then she went on to take me to Mexico, India, and took me all over the world because I was her best actress. I refuse to let what's going on to take away that pride. This is my family, and I'm so happy that IJHS is celebrating its 25th anniversary. I'm a product of you. So cheers to IJHS.